Member of Parliament for North Dying is in the studio. George Lowe is his name. He's also a lawyer, but also a member of... which committee are you a member of in Parliament?
Well, I'm a member of quite a... but for the paper, I'm a vice chairman of Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee.
Talking about that, I think I need to ask you a question then. The very subject about, importantly, the current amendments that we're making to the law in which to make sure that we hold the elections on November 7th. What's happening to that?
Well, thank you, and let me say good morning to our cherished viewers. What's happening to that is that the process has kick-started. The necessary gazetting has been done by the Attorney General. It came to Parliament. Mr. Speaker referred it to the Council of State. Thankfully, the Council of State has sent it back to Parliament with its comments, and so that's where we are. Mr. Speaker has also referred it to the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. The committee is going to meet at 10 o'clock today to see what timetable we draw in respect of the work that we are going to do on it.
How many days has it been back from the Council of State?
Oh, no, I think it came up from the Council of State on Monday.
On Monday. Tuesday. This very Monday. This very
Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday.
And I know that once it gets back to the House, and you're supposed to have a 21-day period.
No, this is not like if it were, it would have gone to the or CI, it would have gone to the subsidiary legislation committee. This is with it's a constitutional amendment, so that's why it's clearly in the domain of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee.
So it means that we could have it gazetted in the next few...
No, not gazetted. The gazetting has been done twice as per the constitutional amendment. What we are likely to do, like I said, we'll meet at 10 and then we would see what processes to kickstart. We may want to hold a public hearing to hear the views of the public as well, as we normally do, and then receive a memorandum from various quarters if anybody so wishes, and then we do our committee report after that. When we have met, we do a committee report after that. The report will be brought to the floor for debate, and then after the debates, we do the necessary consideration, if any, and then go through the processes and pass.
Good. What were you doing on the holiday?
Yesterday? Oh, I spent 90% of the time
at home. Okay.
I just went out briefly for some. Other than that, I was home throughout.
Yeah, you're down with a bit of flu, I guess.
But yeah, it's something that is running through the family and everybody.
I guess. A doctor friend of mine told me it's a bug. I said it's because of the weather. But let's look at this. The president had been speaking on the subject of the electricity supply we have. We know that over the last couple of days before the close of the working week last week, we were told that there will be some timetable out for load shedding, etc. But the president is saying apparently we're not going to have a full-scale timetable at all, and that doom so on a wide scale is not back.
Well, I think that it's obvious to all that there have been some challenges on the electricity front, on the power front, and it was due largely to the quantity of supply of light crude, from Nigeria here, and of course we also have this end gas problem. So the expected supplies had not come in, and therefore we will have to manage with what we have in stock. And once it's a management thing, occasionally the supply is taken off some areas, depending on how the power management committee decides, as they used to do. So yes, some places have experienced some power outages. I have experienced some a couple of times in my area as well, and so that is what we have. But being as that is made, that the president said, it's a temporary problem that they believe will be fixed within the shortest possible time, and therefore there will not be any need for a prolonged shedding of load across board, and the volumes of load shedding may not be as serious as it is. So it's been treated as a temporary setback, and that, as the president said, we are hopeful that within the shortest possible time, everything will be back on stream and will revert to the normal supply as we have.
But what do you make of the fact that prior to the president's own comment, we'd had a deputy minister who had indeed acknowledged that we had difficulties, and that could ultimately lead to what the president was debunking?
Well, point is that the president has not said we haven't had difficulties. The minister has also admitted that there have been difficulties. What the difference is that the minister was responding to a specific comment. Some people were saying, look, give us a load shedding program so we are aware when power will go off at our end or not. And then he said, well, it's being considered, and that within the shortest possible, if need be, a load shedding program will come out. That is not to say that definitely to come out. Thankfully, the president has now come and said, look, we've looked at the problem. I've met all the power sector stakeholders, and from what he picks up, it will not be necessary for government to officially, announce a load shedding program or announce that we are in crisis, and therefore we are not going to go there. Within the shortest, he himself has said within the coming weeks, the problem has been resolved, and he also said that he has gone further to ask BOST to make sure that they keep a month's supply, so that in case these things recur, we may be able to do an intervention locally. So basically, that is what it is.
Well, despite all the things that the president has said, we've had various think tanks or other groups also perhaps challenging the president. For example, we reported here on Joy that the executive director of the Institute of Energy and Climate Change Policy, Dr. Mutaka Lolo, said the president needs to acknowledge that we are back fully into full-scale power cuts, and that a program of outages would be the appropriate means by which Ghanaians or the consumer would be able to know when their communities will be going off or not.
Well, I would respect Dr. Alolo for his technical competence. I don't know him, but if he indeed has a PhD in the power sector, he might be technically competent. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't run the power sector of this country. The man in charge of the day-to-day affairs of the country says, no, we will not get there. The president also has his team of technical expertise who advise him. And I think that looking at the advice available to the president, he has taken a position on it. I respect the president's position. I'll go by that. As for Dr. Alolo, he's entitled to his professional view. But I'm saying that in this case, I just don't think so. And so will it stay.
You want to go with the president?
Definitely.
All right. We'll see how that goes. But the president also had been responding to a number of issues. We know that it's following the Electoral Commission and a case brought against it by Abu Ramadan and Co. in court. And then a decision was made by the Supreme Court on some level of clarification as to a directive on May 5 that they issued in that very order. What do you make of the outcome subsequently?
Well, I think that Abu Ramadan went to court for a clarificatory relief, and he got it. The Supreme Court has clarified the position and given the appropriate orders as a result of that, and so will it be. He says go and delete the names and give the people enough notice and allow them to re-register where need be. And I think that is what the order is for now. Nothing untoward has happened, nothing extraordinary has happened. We all got excited when they said the EC should bring the list. Some people said they can never bring it. Some people said they don't even know how many people, all that. They managed to bring 56,000 names. Now, the Supreme Court says go delete those names and get them to re-register. Fine. So we are where we are. I don't think that anybody needs to be overly excited about these things. The good thing is that we are not carrying machetes against each other in respect of this. The good is that we've gone to a properly constituted Supreme Court and they have made their orders, and I think that we all going to respect those orders. If anybody have anything extra, the courts are always available. They can go for any further relief they seek, and the Supreme Court was very clear on that as well. It says that, look, you brought us a declarative relief. We've given you. If you have any other thing that you think we should consider, we will not consider it within this framework, because that's not how the rules apply. The rules are that once the relief you are seeking is from an earlier judgment, they'll stick to issues within that judgment. If you have any new thing, you come completely back.
Then it means that those individuals can go back to the court, or any individual or group at all.
The Supreme Court is an avenue for redress for anybody. Article 2, if you have any issue, you can go. So anybody is just as Abu Ramadan and Evans Limaku, and I hear there's some the people went. So can you go? So can I go? So can he go? So can he go? It's our Supreme Court, the Supreme Court of Ghana. So we are all. Even if you go and they sack you, you're still gone. So I don't see anything wrong with anybody who wants to go to the Supreme Court.
All right. So we have to take a break. When we come back, we'll be admitting into the discussions Honorable Simon Osei Mensah, and he is the Member of Parliament for Bosomtwe, and he will be giving us his thoughts on the issues. And joining us is Simon Osei Mensah, Member of Parliament for Bosomtwe, but also the 4th Deputy Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament. And the ECOWAS Parliament, though, is in Abuja, Nigeria. Yeah. Okay, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Okay, and you may have heard about whether there will be doomsor or there won't be doomsor. And we know that early last week or middle of last week, we had a Deputy Energy Minister quoted in the media widely as saying that we had difficulties with providing enough fuel for the various energy plants. As a result of that, we're likely to have some outages. And questions were posed to him: if that is the case, are we likely to go back into full blackout, etc.? And whether there was a likelihood of a publication of a full timetable for load shedding, etc. But the president seemed to be saying contrary when he was addressing Muslims as part of events to mark the end of the Ramadan. Your views on this very subject?
Okay, thank you very much, and greetings to our cherished viewers. My brother, first of all, this issue of doomsor, or the problem with the energy sector, we've spoken about this close to 4 years, and there's no significant change, or there are no significant changes. We've said time and time and again that the issue borders on money. That's the bottom line. It's money. Whether we have doomsor or we not have doomsor, what I want is for us to be told the truth as to the real situation on the ground. You know, before the situation got to this point, maybe some 2-3 months ago, we said the government was owing NGAS, that's the Nigerian Gas Company. And for that matter, if we fail to pay or honor our debt obligation, we are likely to go back into doomsor, because there will be shortage of gas to power those plants that rely on gas as the source of energy. We were told we were not owing. Later, the government came back and said, yes, we are owing, but we are going to pay. Now we are told it has been paid, but we are not being supplied. From the position of we don't owe, that we have problems with some of the thermal plant, to a position of we owe, but we are going to make arrangement to pay. Now we are at a position of we've paid, but they are not supplying it. Which of these positions is the truth? Which of them? And you see, if you are he is the leader, he is our president. If it's true the government has paid NGAS and they are not supplying, it's so simple. Between here and Abuja, It won't take more than 2 hours. It's just about 1 hour, 20 minutes flight. The president can go to his colleague in Nigeria, tell him, please, you're having problems with your gas company, and that we did owe them. We've honored our obligation, we've paid, but still they are not supplying us.
So for you, it's a straightforward issue.
It's a straightforward issue. So I doubt if we've actually honored our debt obligation.
So what do you make of the president's comments?
This is what I'm trying to announce. All the possibilities that maybe we owe $1 billion US, then we're going to pay maybe 600,000. Then they say that please pay in full because of previous experiences. We are not going to rely on that part payment and supply gas. That is what I'm thinking. If truly they've made payment, other than that, I owe you, I've paid. Supply me, you are saying no. So what?
Because in your terms of conditions for the contract, you would have certain things that you need to meet as a supplier.
Yes. So once we've paid, then they have to supply. I think the president should come again, or maybe the minister for power should come and explain what they mean by this.
Should come with further and better particulars.
Exactly. Because I'm getting confused. This one together with even the electricity tariffs. I'm getting confused.